Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé. Let's get to the show. As I always say, every episode that I ever do, since I'm talking about psychology, can be triggering for some people. And so watch with caution. Let's watch.
Thought that her fiance was going to be there also. When you found out he wasn't there, you actually thought that they were intimate.
Let's say I had the fear and I produced it on the situation. I had the fear.
Okay, so that's good. Natalie is, if I understand her right, expressing something that is normal. She, I think, is saying, yeah, at the time I had the fear and I reacted. Maybe she will say I probably went a little too far. But yeah, I had the fear that he cheated on me, meaning that he doesn't really love me or doesn't really care about me. And that's normal. There's nothing wrong with having the fear. It's what we do with it, right? Do we say to our partner, hey, you spent the night at this woman's house, and I don't think you cheated on me, but I don't know. I've been cheated on before in the past, and I just have to say, like, is there anything you can do to reassure me? Could I talk to Sara? Like, I don't know. I'm just really afraid right now. There's a way to deal with that jealousy in a functional way, and a way that other people can respond to your jealousy in a functional way. There are other ways of responding, which is to reassure yourself, yes, he absolutely did cheat on me, and I'm going to yell at him and accuse him of cheating on me, and I'm going to tell him he's a terrible person.
Like
Brother
we were
and sister.
roommates and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's it. We're just just really great friends. That's it.
That's it.
I don't know about all this stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like personally if Joe will have so much close friends woman.
I'm a little uncomfortable with it too.
Never believe women. Never have like woman and man be friends.
Okay, if you don't want your partner to have friends that threaten you, okay, fine. I don't know, though, because that just, there's some people where half their friends are, they have friends of every gender. And so you come in, and just because you just have this policy and this paranoia, you're just going to ask your partner to get rid of a whole slew of friends for no reason, just because you have this policy. And or you have this distortion that whenever people are friends and there's a possibility of an attraction, there will always be sex. That is a ridiculous notion. I'm just here to tell everyone this is a notion that is believed by a lot of people, and it drives me nuts. It actually was one of the lines in When Harry Met Sally, actually, if you remember back to that movie, where Harry's like, oh, men and women can never be friends because the guy is always going to want to have sex with a girl. What? Like, that's just ridiculous. I mean, might it be true for some people? Yeah, I suppose so. But you can't be friends with someone and differentiate between this is a friend and this is my romantic partner, or this is a friend and these are the people I'm attracted to, or this is a friend and I don't want to threaten that relationship by going there even in my head. Why would I go there? It's just a silly notion. Let me extend it to he said that Sara is like a sister to him. So let's say that Sara was his stepsister, not his biological sister, but a stepsister. And he met her when they met each other when they were both teenagers or something. Are we prepared to say that they can never be brother and sister or friends because he's always going to want to have sex with her, she's always going to want to have sex with him? We all understand that's ridiculous. That's so dumb. Like, come on, people. Expand your mind. Now, if you are threatened by that and you want to have a conversation with your partner about things like that, and you want to have your life along, you and your partner are like, we're not going to have any friends that are going to threaten each other. Okay, that's fine. But to say that everyone across the globe, it's inherently a problem is ridiculous. Research opposes that idea, and I wish people would get it out of their head. Again, if you want to have a life like that, totally fine. That's your choice. But don't impose that point of view on other people. And we need more friends in our lives. We understand that, right? That a lot of people are isolated. A lot of people feel like they don't have enough friends. They don't feel like they have enough support. And because of this silly rule, we're just going to eliminate half of the planet as opportunities for friendship and support. It's just, I work with a lot of women. In fact, most therapists are women. Most professors in my university are women. They are friends of mine. Should my wife bar me from being friends with them? My best friend was me. So it was when I started the podcast 13 years ago, it was me, Umberto, and Lita, a woman who I have been friends with since I was a child. We actually went to preschool together. We were best friends in high school and through college. And we started the podcast together. I started the podcast, and I asked my two best friends, Umberto and Lita, my two most obnoxious best friends, the people who like to talk the most, to be, actually, I first asked Bob. Some of you know Bob. He refused because he was too shy. He later warmed up to it. But Umberto and Lita were my first co-hosts on the podcast. This is a best friend of mine, Lita. I'm still friends with her. Should my wife, Stacy, have said, you can't be friends with Lita? I mean, it's just, it drives me crazy. It's really silly.
There was a lot of mean stuff said. American whore got brought up, and then she was told by a friend that women in America can't have relationships with men unless they're sleeping with them. I think that's where her insecurity came from, and maybe that's why she jumped to conclusions.
Well, that certainly provides context to what had happened, right? That for Natalie, when she discovers that Mike is going to go be in her wedding, because I think this conflict happened before her wedding, that would concern Natalie even more, right? Because she believes that Sara is against her, which increases the feeling of distrust. So I wish why didn't they tell us that on the show when that happened? Because that's a pretty significant event, that Sara and Natalie would have an absolute conflict over the phone before that event.
Said, Mike, did you hear those words being said?
That conversation got heated really quick.
I remember I talked emotionally.
Yes.
It's true. I raised my voice, and I was maybe a little bit superstitious, cautious, like a detective style. But I didn't start with saying this.
Right. Okay.
All right. So Natalie's taking responsibility once again, which is a rare thing on the show. She's saying, yeah, I was a little over the top. I was being paranoid. I can't remember the exact words she used. I was being detective style. But I didn't say that. I didn't start the conversation by the way that Sara said I started the conversation.
A lot for getting my trust back. I feel like we have just so many issues. Maybe if I will go home, everything would be better. I don't know.
All right. Well, that is the end of the season. I watched the whole season as it was occurring for the very first time with y'all. I came to this show when I started watching Love is Blind, and I, on a whim, just decided to do reaction videos and post it on YouTube, and people seemed to like it, and we're getting all these emails from people saying, oh, you got to do this show. And the overwhelming was you got to do 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. And so I jumped in midway through the season with Big Ed and all those other people. And then people are like, no, you can't just jump in the middle of the season. You got to go back to the beginning. And then I went back to the beginning, and Darcy was on that season. And you got to go back to the very beginning. So I went all the way back to the very beginning. So often Colt and Larissa, all these other couples they aired a long time ago, and I'm watching them years later and reacting to it. And one of the disadvantages to that is that y'all would know where it was headed and I didn't. And people would comment sometimes, not everyone, but there'd be a few people saying, you don't understand, and I'd be like, well, yeah, I don't understand because I haven't watched ahead, and you understand because you've seen where this is headed. I don't know where it's headed. And so when we started this season, I thought, yes, none of you know where it's headed. I don't know where it's headed. And so we're all going to watch it together. And so there's that aspect. But there's also just the aspect of watching it real time, right? And experiencing the unveiling in the same way that you have. And so, if I know some of you watch every single video that I put out. And so it's been quite a journey that we've been on, you and me. We've been on quite a journey. By the way, I finally got a professional haircutting person appointment. It's been 16 months since I've had since I've gone to the haircutting person. I had a haircut in I think January 1st of 2020, and my hair is getting kind of long, and I was like, oh, I better get a haircut. It was already long anyway, and then the pandemic hit, and then I've been pretty safe, even though it was okay to get your haircut. I was really worried that I might be a vector or I might get sick, and so until I got fully vaccinated, I didn't get a haircut. So you might recognize that my hair looks, a little bit more spiffy because this 16 months, I've been cutting the front of my head, and my wife has been cutting the back of my head, and neither of us know how to cut hair. So, so it's nice to. And shout out to Rudy's barbershop in Belltown, Seattle. Sara is a great hair cutting person. Anyway. So yeah, it's been quite a journey, and thanks for being with me on this journey. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, and tune in next time when we continue with the next season. I think there's another season coming up next week. Is it not Happily Ever After? Should I be watching that? Should I be watching something else? Let me know in the comments, and or email me by clicking the link below, going to the website, psychologyinseattle.com, clicking on the contact. You can email suggestions there as well. And take care of yourself and take care of others. Because you deserve it, you really, really do.